Hello friends of Sabiduria Libros. My name is Graeme Goldsworthy and I'm the author of some books about the Bible that have been ably translated into Spanish for the Latino-American market. I have a passion for expounding the Bible using the method of biblical theology, so I'd like to take this opportunity to encourage you to consider the importance of biblical theology in helping you to understand the Bible. Because central to the message of the Bible is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Biblical theology is a way of studying the Bible that helps us to understand how every part of the Bible actually relates to Jesus and his life, death and resurrection for us. So my concern is to help Christians to understand how great is the diversity of the Bible, and yet this great diversity is also a profound unity centered on the person and work of Jesus. So I wrote this book, Gospel and Kingdom, or Evangelio y Reino, and According to Plan, or in Spanish, Estrategia Divina. And these two books have been really the core of my understanding and my teaching about biblical theology. Many Christians will recognize that the New Testament is itself about Jesus, but most Christians, or many Christians, have real problems in relating the Old Testament to the person and work of Jesus. And the approach of biblical theology that I have set out, especially in these two books, are aimed at providing a way of understanding the Bible, that it is the one word of the one God about the one way of salvation through the one Saviour, Jesus Christ. In the 24th chapter of Luke's Gospel, we read how Jesus told his disciples, after he'd risen from the dead, that the whole of the Old Testament scriptures were about him. And biblical theology is a way of examining how the various parts of the Old Testament actually do relate to Jesus. And if they relate to Jesus, then they relate to us, who are in union with Jesus. So Jesus and his apostles preached the gospel from the Old Testament, because that was the only Bible they had at that stage. The New Testament writers then came along and they are constantly quoting from the Old Testament in order to show how Jesus is the Christ. So in biblical theology we look at the big picture of the whole Bible. It's a massive work, 66 books, great diversity, spread over some 1500 years in the writing, 3 languages, and yet it is a wonderful unity which points us to Christ. And we discover that there is a God-inspired plan, and there is a structure to the whole Bible that focuses on Jesus as the fulfiller of all God's promises in the Old Testament. So let me again encourage you to think of the Bible as God's one great work, and that biblical theology will assist you so that you can understand your own place in the big picture, and so find a greater depth of meaning in the gospel of Christ, and be blessed from finding out that for yourselves. So God bless you in reading the Bible.